Alright. It's been a while since I've done a full update, so I figured I might as well go ahead and do that. Start on the inside. I think I've showed these off in a couple of videos over the past couple of winter months, but I've been working pretty hard in the yard as things are starting to warm up, and I've kind of figured out how I want the yard to look, but just some updates on some of these plants too. I got a fruit of mystery from Bellamy whenever he had his sale recently, so I've kind of got this weird thing for tiny leafed plants, and I saw that a while ago, and I just had to have one along with my, the privet stopper here, which is finally starting to really put out some new growth since I've potted it in here. It's been looking kind of pitiful, but I'm not really sure why, but it's figuring itself out. I know sometimes they just kind of drop leaves as they grow, but my piriformises are doing really good. I'm going to probably pop one of them into the ground. I've got a couple of bigger ones down here. Got some cambucas starting to pop up. You can kind of see it right there. This one still hasn't popped up yet, but now these have been in soil for since November, so they do take a while to pop up. This one popped up rather quickly compared to the other two, but they're big seeds. I think they just take a while. You're probably better off directly sowing them into the ground because they're just big plants. Like this thing, it's not even put a leaf out yet, and its roots already starting to poke out the bottom. So bigger pot or direct sow. I don't know. This works, but I'm sure there's a better way. If I had more land, I would direct sow most of them, but tenth of an acre, 0.15 acres. You got to work with what you got. These anthropophagas are doing well. These ones took a while to pop up, but I've got a big one up here, and it's just looking really good. It's such a cool plant how the leaves come out. They kind of spiral around each other, and then as they unfurl, they pop up. But they seem to do really well in pots. They look like, the fruits look like a lot like a long Katanga tuba. I'm sure they probably taste similarly, but just a couple of jaboticabas up here too. Well, one jaboticaba. This is the Plinia oblongata. Really doing well. I feel like these small leaf varieties just do so much better than the bigger leaves. They seem to handle the temperature being cooler, lower humidity, even though, Florida, it's pretty high humidity even in the home generally. But, I don't like to keep these plants inside, but I only have one of each of these, so I try to keep them inside. Not because of temperature specifically, but I have a problem with bugs coming in and just eating my plants. And like I'm okay with it with the tons of red jabo seedlings I have outside, but like I would be really upset if a single worm came and ate this guy, for example. So that's the main reason I keep these things inside. Any seedlings that I start. But anyways, tangents. This Merceria floribunda is looking really good. Starting to push out a lot of new growth. The root system on them isn't super aggressive, so they can stay in these small pots, it seems, for a little bit longer. Now this is an interesting one here. So this is a seed I got from Bellamy probably a year ago. I got like 5 of them. Now I'm not, this is the funny thing with seeds. Sometimes they just don't germinate. But this is the Eugenia pitanga, unknown variety, but it came from Restinga province, I think, is where they found the seeds originally. And it has been trying to grow for a whole year. Like it kept popping up, dying off, popping up, dying off. I thought it was dead, and then it popped up again. So this one actually looks a lot stronger. So here's, hoping, fingers crossed, we'll actually get a leaf on it this time. It's looking really nice. Like, I don't know how it has so much energy stored up in it, but it's giving it its go. But anyways, we got rainforest plum up here too, looking pretty. A lot of these I will probably end up putting in the ground at some point, depending. Like this Plinia oblongata, I think, because it's a small leaf variety, it probably takes the cold a lot better, like the Sabra. So some of these will end up going in the ground at some point, especially once I get some rootstock to graft. I'll probably graft like this guy onto a Sabra rootstock so I have backups. But let's see what else is in here. Those are looking good. Oh yeah, I moved my. I think they were getting too tall and getting a little burn from the light, so you can kind of see this one. It's got. Let's see if it'll focus. Come on, focus. Focus. You can kind of see it there. Was getting a little burnt on the tips. I think it was too bright from these grow lights. This is the Eugenia Burkhartiana. They actually sprouted first. They're all kind of having this chlorotic look. Could be the water, could be the potting mix. I'll pot them up at some point soon and see if that changes. But I think it might be just the light. But they did kind of start out before the older leaves kind of filled in a little bit, stopped looking chlorotic after a bit. So it might just be the way that they look. But they're growing, so doing something right. My anomaly is doing pretty good. I probably need to water it actually. It's taking so long for these little flowers to pop out. I know I made a video on it, but it is flowering. Trying to get it to focus. My finger. It's wanting to focus on my fingers and not the actual flower. Let's see. Come on. Come on. It's hard to do it with one hand. There we go. So this thing's chugging along. It's a grafted one on Sabra, so it can kind of handle anything. Again, I'm just keeping this inside because I don't want a worm to eat it. So I'm letting it get a little bigger before I bring it outside. What else? I got this Plinia Ariana. This one was one I grew from a seed. This one in particular isn't doing super hot. I've like changed the soil on it a couple of times. It's growing, but it gets kind of burnt. Not sure why, but it do. And then what else? Got these, yeah, these are more piriformis. I think I pointed that out before. I got a Plinia trunciflora, and this one is doing really well. I got this from Bellamy as well, and it's just, I've heard truncifloras do well in Florida. Just generally, they can kind of handle the cold a little better than some of the other varieties, and this is the Gigante variety of trunciflora. And this one is definitely going to go in the ground. But again, I want to get some Sabra rootstocks growing, back them up a little bit before I start putting them out into the elements. So this can stay in a pot for a while. But these are just some green tea Korean variety that I'm growing for my sister. And then I got some other seeds that I got in. Just some Glazioviana, like bigger variety. That was that Cabe Ludao, Cabeludao, something like that. Cabeludao. I can't say it. I haven't heard anyone say it, so sorry if I'm butchering that. But just a bigger fruited Glazioviana, same plant, bigger fruited variety. I've got some giant red crystal Javaticaba seeds, and then again I saw was it Ryan's Tropicals guy, Javaticaba 45 on the forum, I think is what he is. I saw a video of his cuspidata, and I was like, I gotta have one of those. It's such a cool little tiny leaf plant. So I got a couple of seeds after seeing that. So, and his is amazing looking. So inspired. But moving to the outside, I've got just a whole bunch of stuff going on out here. Just some jackfruits that I had gifted to me, some seeds anyways, from a nice guy in North Tampa. So I've been growing all the seeds that I could, and these will be given away for free to friends and family and whoever. But just to pay it forward a little bit. I ain't selling nothing I got for free. My cacaos are doing pretty good. These have been out in the cold the whole time, and they germinated. So, I've been watching Frog Valley Fruit Farm talk about his cacao, and he kind of inspired me to give it a shot. And sure enough, like they just don't care about the cold. Like they're sprouting over there. These things were, it got down to 35 and they're still sprouting. I can zoom in and prove it to you. like it's starting to pop up. It is sprouting more slowly, but it's not really a problem. Playing the long game with tropical fruits. But the ones I had inside, they did sprout a little higher. They're a little ahead of the game. So these are just red and yellow varieties. I'm not sure exactly what they are. They weren't marked in the box, but I got them from the same place that Eric recommended on his videos. And that they're fresh as heck. They come right out of the fruit from the variety box, and look at them go. So trying new stuff, and it's fun. And I'll probably give these away to family members as well as they pop out. But maybe some neighbors and stuff. But let's see what else is going on over here. Propagating some pigeon pea to give to my mom because she's trying to start filling in her yard, and her soil sucks. So we're gonna start with pigeon peas because these guys just don't care, and they'll get their roots in there and hopefully start getting rid of the compaction. I got some, I don't know, what do you call these guys? These are my favorite citrus. Pomelos. Pomelo seedlings. Here's my Sabra seedlings that have popped up that are ahead of the game. I've got like 30 more that haven't sprouted yet. It's taking them a while. I'm not sure why, but I'm sure they'll pop up eventually. More camellia tea leaves. Tons of reds just all over the place from my mother tree here. Let's see. Some Ingaviras. These will be going at my mom's place as well. This is a Rosa de Pescoco Jabuticaba that's looking a little pitiful, but I think this is actually like bug damage, and this is why I try to keep things inside, because they just come in and they tear this stuff up. These little itty bitty worms, they come and they eat like the top layer of plant matter on the leaves, and it starts looking like this. But you can see the plant itself is fine. Like the new growth looks really good, so I'm not too worried about it. But it's big enough to handle that stress. Got a couple more Plinia Orianas in here, a bunch more reds. My miracle fruit I've grown from seed is starting to really take off. I think this is like year 2. Let me think. Yeah, it'll be year 2 in July. I tried some miracle fruit at the Fruit and Spice Park, and those are the seeds that sprouted from that. So hopefully they'll start making fruit in another year or 2. My yellow Wampy, that'll probably go in the front yard. I got orchids all over the place too. What else? Got some Suriname cherry seedlings, which I'm going to attempt grafting Patanga tuba onto. Because I want more Patanga tubas. I don't really care for Suriname cherry that much, at least these ones. These are just like your stereotypical red ones that kind of don't taste too great. They're not bad, but they're not the best tasting ones. I got Cherry of the Rio Grande seedlings. Oh yeah, I've got this Garnet Cherry of the Rio Grande over here from member on the forum. He sells them regularly. Oh, and it's flowering actually. That's kind of cool. So we'll get to try that fruit, I guess. I've got one in the ground as well, but I'll leave that one in the pot for now. I had some poor potting mix on it, and their root system got all mucky, and so I repotted them a while ago, and they died back a little bit, and they obviously are coming back now, so I'm not too worried about it. What else? I'm trying to propagate my red finger lime cuttings. I've never tried it before. These are just going to be for myself because I know there are restrictions in Florida on that, so these are staying on the property for anyone else, anyone looking at this. Just an experiment. I got some celestial fig cuttings over here that we're propagating. Giving it a shot. I was pruning the tree back, and I'm not giving it like a whole lot of effort, but I put some rooting hormone on them and stuck them in some dirt, and we'll see what happens. If they don't take, whatever. But if they do take, I'll probably give them away to the neighbors, family, friends. Let's see what else is going on. Scarlet Jabuticaba, it's just taken off. I imagine it'll get pretty big this year, but that'll probably stay in a pot forever just because Now, I also have a vision of, this outdoor space where we hang out, of just having beautiful, 6 foot tall jabuticabas lining the area. And maybe, I've got a grimy chama over there. We'll see if it stays in a pot, but anything that can fruit in a pot and also just look pretty. Like this sauber here is just amazing. Like I'm never going to take this out of its pot. Like it's going to be the centerpiece of the lanai, and look at this new growth coming out on it. I posted a little video earlier in the week. I got little bumps popping up. They may or may not be flowers. I don't think they are. I'm going to guess that they're new growth, but it is kind of teasing me a bit. I think this thing is probably, I don't know, 4 years old. It's got a cool like willowing growth habit to it, so it looks a little younger than it actually is, but it's actually, like, if you look at the way it comes out, it's actually bent out this way. So I think if it was straight up, it would probably be, I don't know, 4 feet, 5 feet maybe. But it's just a really healthy plant. Does great in a pot. Yeah. Got my Grimmel over there. Probably put that in the ground at some point. I don't know, maybe this year, maybe not. See how I feel about it. Maybe I'll graft it first. Just to have a backup. Blue Vexator, chugging along. Pretty plant. That'll probably stay in a pot. I've got a bunch of seeds that still haven't sprouted. Got them at the same time as the Plinia edulis seeds back in November, so I'm sure they're just taking their time. But now that it's warming up out here, I'm sure they'll sprout. What else we got going on? I've got a Otto Anderson jabuticaba that's doing pretty poorly there. It's been inside though, so I moved it out today, now that it's warming up, just to see how things will do. Some succulents and cherimoyas that I planted, and I've just kind of neglected. They're just in a pot and they're alive, but I think I might be allergic to anonas, so I'm not like too big of a fan of them, other than like I like them, but every time I eat them I get a stomach ache, so I'm reluctant to continue trying to eat them, but I like growing them, so maybe TMI, but yeah. But yeah, not too much going over here. My wife's into succulents, so you'll find those scattered throughout. But yeah, just more reds and Anona seedlings. There's my yellow grimy chama, rose apple. I'm probably gonna get rid of my dragon fruits, at least the yellow one. I might have. They taste good, but they just take up so much space. They're a lot of work. We just get a lot of rain, and what happens is they'll start getting kind of moldy, at least in pots. I think they really need to be growing up a tree to be successful, or in the ground where it drains a little better. But like they'll get like this fungus on them, and I don't want to spray the copper, and it just eats away at it. So you have to do surgery if you don't want to spray. You can do peroxide on them if you're on top of it, but like I don't really want to deal with plants that have to maintain like that, at least in pots, so I'll probably let these things. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I want to see what this one is. I don't know what the kind of variety this guy is yet, so I want to see what fruit comes off of it. I've got some American Beauties over there in pots as well that I didn't point out. Was it? So these I'm going to try and figure out how can I plant them in the ground. I really don't want them on my lanai anymore, but let's see. Got some mango seedlings that I'll try grafting onto right here. They're kind of looking pitiful, but I'm learning how to do the potting mix right on these. But let's see what else. This is my Pitomba. I'm hoping it'll fruit this year. If not, it's still a pretty plant. It's going to stay in this pot on the lanai. So now we can move to the outside. I spent like 20 minutes on this. Just some updates out here. My seashore mangosteens are still looking pretty good. They're turning a little yellow. They might need a bit of fertilizer. I might need to change out the soil on them. They've been in these pots for like a year, I want to say, these cloth bags. But they're pretty happy. They took the cold really well. I want to put them in the ground, but they're just so big. Like I just don't have enough room, and there are Garcinias that I would rather have So maybe these will go in at my mom's house or something like that whenever she starts getting stuff put in. But I'll see if I can keep a couple in pots, because I really did enjoy the fruit when I had it at Fruit and Spice Park, and that's where I got these seeds from. So there's a random black sapote in there. These are just star fruits from a fruit that I had. Yeah, these guys, I still don't know what these are. I think these are governor plums or something like that. Definitely like a Flocortia species. I don't want to plant them in the ground because the bush that I got it from at Fruit and Spice Park was huge. I just don't have space for it. But they grow well. This little one at the bottom's not doing too hot. But these other two are fine. So we'll just keep them in pots for now and see how well they do later. Start from this side and I'll go back. This is kind of the north side wall of the house. My neighbor put up a fence last year, so I took advantage of that. Did a little bit of landscaping. But I've got seed-grown strawberry guava there. I had some hibiscus that I need to cut back. Plant the seeds from those, get some more of that. That's really good for tea and jam. Patanga tuba, some pigeon pea growing over here. Now this side of the house, whenever it gets into summer, it's going to be in full sun over here. During the winter, it's kind of like this all the time. I've got this June plum here. I don't know if this is the best spot for it. I don't know. I haven't tried the fruit before either. If I don't like it, I'll just take it out. But orchids. I've got a directly sown cacao right there, which is actually popping up. The squirrels didn't find it, so I got to prune back this thing so it stopped being so crazy. I've been working on it. It was all the way up in these pigeon peas, which I pruned back real hard. I got like 1.5 pounds of pigeon peas off of this guy before I pruned it. Let's see. And this is a purple possum passion fruit. I've got my variegated kumquat in there, which had root rot from horrible soil mix on my fault on my part. But I just popped it in the ground. It's okay now. It's slowly coming back. Orinoco banana, doing great. I put a ginger, like a normal kind of ginger rhizome in there, or root. So hopefully the ginger will pop out. Here's my other garnet cherry of the Rio. Got a red jabuticaba there. This is just some spicy peppers. Random pumpkin growing in here. See, my Cambuca is doing really well. Like it loves the sunlight. Now I haven't watered anything since I put it in back here either, so I did do the light layer of mulch, but I put in some little frog fruits, some sunshine mimosa, like all in through here, and I'm letting this, this other ground cover take over. So the soil here is actually really, really good. It was kind of terrible last year, but since I let all this stuff grow, I threw all my compost in here, and I lightly chipped it. So the light wood chips was kind of like for the plants in here now. There's gonna be some organic matter, but there was not enough to actually stop plants from growing through it, which is what I want. And hopefully that, this will transition from wood chips to green. I planted some peanut grass back there, just because I want to get rid of, it's like really compacted back there because there was an easement, and I think whenever they made that, they probably dug it up and pushed it down, and I'm just gonna hopefully let the peanut grass grow in back there, but we'll get over there in a second. So I've got my MBs here. I'm trying to, on the forum, I'm trying to ask if anybody has any known hermaphrodite or male female plants that are already grafted. I don't want to have to go through grafting again because I had bugs eat my last ones. Eventually I'll be able to graft on these, but I just want to let them grow a little bigger. Especially this one, I can't graft on that one yet. It's just a noodle on a stick. This one I could probably graft too, but I'm hoping it'll be a female. I can graft a male branch onto it. Fingers crossed. The way they grow, I'm thinking I could put like 3 or 4 in here, and it won't really matter too much. I'm sure they can be pruned once they get to size at some point. If I'm getting too dense back here, but I don't think I'll need to from the ones that I've seen, at least in the next 10 years. I got some blueberries, which intentionally are in a pot, just because my wife likes blueberries, I like blueberries. If I leave them out here, we don't get to eat them, so they stay in a pot. But I bring them outside because the bees love them, and once they get pollinated and the fruits start, getting set, I'll bring it back in and let them finish up. I've got my Viana yellow jabuticaba right here that I saved from Troy's Tropics a couple of years ago, or was it last year? It's doing really well. This will probably end up in the ground. Maybe I might put it right there. Maybe right here. Who knows? But it's in the pot for now. Threw a sugar apple in the ground. Now, one thing I've been doing is I've got this longevity spinach. And the cool thing about that is it's an edible green. You can eat it just like regular spinach, but it grows like a weed. It kind of tastes just like spinach with a little bit of green pea. Like if you eat raw green peas, tastes like that. But I found they grow really well. All you have to do is break them off at a node and stick them in the ground. So anytime I've been planting a fruit tree in the ground, I've also been sticking longevity spinach around it to help, add roots into the soil and also add ground cover. And that's what this stuff is over here. There's this stuff here. So you can see it's just it's taken over, and it's been a really good ground cover compared to I've got some sisu and katuk, but for utility, it's been kind of the best one, and it just grows. I don't have to worry about it. I've got a day avocado and what was the other one? Yeah, Brazos Bell, planted in the same hole just for space. In hindsight, I probably didn't need to because we have loads of neighbors with avocados, but this is kind of an experiment for me. Let's see, my what is this, Garcinia, was it Brasiliensis, the one that is called Superior Mangosteen, doing good. I had to put a stake on it because it got really windy and started getting blown around, so I tied it to that. Actually, it popped off. I'll have to tie it back. But got a pigeon pea here. Got my Ingaveras right there. I've got another Ingavera right there. Let's see, just some pipe fine there. The butterfly. There's some beautiful blue. I don't know, what do you call them? It's like a blue butterfly, and they have these red spiky larvae, and they eat all this and all the way to the ground, and then it comes back, and then they lay their eggs again on it next year, and then they come back again. They're really cool. Threw an elderberry back in here too. Let's see, what else? A lot of these other plants that you see that are kind of scattered around are just native plants that I got from the native nurseries. I'm just throwing in. My coffee plant still existing, so I know it's not dead. It's just trying to get established. I throw all my coffee grounds over here, and I keep the paper. It's just I'm hoping it'll decompose once it starts raining again. It has been. I just drink a lot of coffee, so I might actually stop doing this for now. But yeah, jackfruits are still popping up. The squash is growing, but animals keep eating the fruit that pop up, so we'll see if I get one eventually. I'm not too worried about it. It planted itself. So starfruit's doing good. Mulberry's starting to kick back in. They'll have a couple of little berries, but I'm sure the birds will eat them before I get them. But let's see. Oh yeah, I put my what is it? This is the little tiny Garcinia. I put a cage around it. I might need to put something else to shade it from the heat because it's so tiny. But I just put this in the ground. This is the Baccarii. It's the bumpy one. That was it, Miami Fruit. You can buy a box of them for $200, and you might get them in 5 years. So or you can, buy your own plant if you live in Florida, or, probably keep it in a pot outside of Florida in a greenhouse. I'm sure you'll get fruit off of it before you'll actually get fruit from the one from Miami Fruit. And it's cheaper. You can buy them for like 20 bucks online. Get you one. So kind of the idea here is like I've got a couple of Plinias and Garcinias and all that, myrtle type plants. I'm trying to just have as much variety in here as possible, and then I'm also working on that side as well. Oh yeah, I got a pineapple in there. Let's see. Got my black sapote. I'm not sure what variety it is, but it's grafted. But I popped this in the ground here in maybe October. It hasn't grown at all since then. I'm sure it's working on expanding its roots out, because I did have it in a pot. But let's see. My directly sown jabuticaba. This is a red, still kicking over here. It's growing very slowly. But it's still there. It's actually starting to grow a little bit more now that it's warmed up. I haven't watered it. I haven't given it any fertilizer since I put it in the ground at first. So it is possible. It actually gets beat down on the sun in the afternoon, or beat down by the sun in the afternoon, which doesn't help it at all, but it's pretty strong. It's doing a lot better than I thought it would. Threw some giant Garcinia in there as well. Hopefully it'll start vining over this. Just a Suriname cherry seedling in there. That's about a year here in the ground, I would say. Here's my forest oranges. I did a video on that. They're really healthy. I actually went back there yesterday, and the tree was loaded with oranges still. And they actually sweetened up a bit. They weren't as sour. They're very seedy, but they have the little teeny tiny, like if you think like a cutie tangerine, like they're even smaller than that. But like I really like them. They have a good flavor. I think if they do grow and make fruit and they're similar, like I can make a whole bunch of juice out of them. But they were growing in complete shade in the middle of the forest, so I know they're going to do great right there. It's got some cassava back here. I'm kind of nervous to eat cassava because of the cyanide, but I harvested one and didn't really have enough that was worth actually trying to cook. It's probably like maybe a mouthful. So I'm just kind of letting these grow, and I'll keep propagating them back here until the soil gets a little better. But I got this purple possum passion fruit that's growing in here as well. So hopefully we'll get some fruit off of that this year. But the seedling black sapote is doing a lot better now. I know it looked kind of pitiful before, but it's starting to kick off. So hopefully it'll grow out into the sunlight a little bit. Got a lemon Cattleya guapa. I'll get over here in a sec. Let's see. I've got that jackfruit in here. It isn't doing super great, but it's still. How close can I get? There it is. It's popping up, so we'll let it keep on going. I'm thinking about moving those bananas. Well, I think I mentioned this before, but I'm definitely moving those bananas back here. I do want to have bananas in there, but those are just kind of too tall. So I might go for I might put the Orinoco over there, over here as well. I'll take some pups and move them around, but maybe not. Maybe I'll leave them. Who knows? I'm probably lazy enough to just leave them. But what we got over here? I've got this cherimoya growing right here that I just popped in the ground because I didn't care about it enough. But I still want to grow them, so it's actually doing really well. It likes that spot. Got a pomelo seedling here, and I just direct sowed this one. Let's see, can you see it right there? This guy. And then onto the new area. My neighbor's been giving me his leaves that he's been raking up. He'll just dump them in here for me, so I'm grateful for that. I kind of want to do the same thing I did over here, where I don't want all of this to be grass. I want to start putting in some native plants, get rid of the dense grass, and let the Biden's alba come in, and some of the other little peanut grasses and stuff like that, just to get some variety in there. But I got another lemon drop mangosteen. I think this is the intermediata, the non-superior one, as people are calling it. And then this is the Dovialis hybrid. It is just a massive plant compared to where I got it. It was like a foot off the ground when I originally got it from Adam as a cutting. And, well, he rooted the cutting, but I imagine I will be making rooted cuttings of this pretty soon. As long as the pathway through here is clear, I'll let it grow. So if it grows up and over, that's fine. But champagne loquat, orange sherbet doing good. It's flowering. I might let this one hold a fruit. I'm still not sure. Got that lemon zest back there that's like flowering extremely heavily, which it's too small for me to want to let it hold a fruit. I only have one, so it kind of is what it is. I'll let it fruit or let it flower, set fruit, and I'll pick the fruit off, and then I'll just go and buy someone's lemon zest to try this year, because I'm sure someone's gonna be selling them. But I've got some sweet almond flower, got some spinach tree. It's a type of hibiscus. So can I get, there we go. Just throwing these in. Still don't know what this thing is. This is a Home Depot mango, and I haven't been too impressed with it in terms of being healthy as a plant, or I haven't even tried to fruit off of it. It is definitely big enough to fruit. It's got a very thick trunk. I don't know what variety it is. I thought it was a Valencia Pride, but I really don't think it is. So if it doesn't fruit for me in the next year or two, I'll probably, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I put my achacha in the ground yesterday, and I think that's a really good spot for it. It's kind of protected on all sides eventually when things grow up, and then it'll kind of expand into this entire area. I imagine they get pretty wide. But my yuzu should be flowering soon. That right there is just a Japanese maple. I had to move it back here. It used to be over here where it gets full sun, but it turns out the maples don't like full Florida sun, so I'm putting it over here. When I was in California, they were growing and looked beautiful in Northern California in shade, so I figured I'd copy that and move it over there. What else? I got some Suriname spinaches growing in here. I've got a Trompo canistel that I just put in. Some galangal. It's my Barbados cherry that I'm pruning as a tree. No flowers on it yet this year, but it's looking really good. What else? More spinach tree. Got a lemon seedling that I put in the ground there. Carolina Reaper. My Zill Dark Suriname cherry. Looking pretty good. It flowered heavily, so I'm going to get a lot of fruit on this year. And then that is my Rolenia. Just put it in the ground. It was in a pot, kind of neglected for a while. Actually, is that a flower? I don't think that's a flower. No. But once I put it in the ground, it did a lot better. Let's see. Bibiju, the Myrciandes pungens growing there. I do have a small blueberry in the ground, and I had them over there whenever we first got our lanai built, but I think the concrete was sapping a lot of the acidity out of the ground over there, and they were starting to turn yellow. I put them in a pot. I dug them up, put them in a pot, and let them come back, and they're doing good. And I put it in the ground here, and I think it's naturally acidic over on this side because it's away from where they poured the concrete. But yeah, it's doing a lot better. Just a random papaya, but it's loaded. I'll probably make some green papaya salad out of this later. My Quaimuk doing fantastic. I'm really excited about this tree. I'm pretty sure it was a seedling. I got it from the nursery in Plant City, and it was like, a foot, half the size of this. It's been in the ground for like a year. It looks like it did get a little angry at the cold. It's got these little spots on them, but it went through the cold, no problem. What else? My moringa, I pruned it hard. I don't want to have like a 25-foot moringa tree, so like what I basically do is I just saw off the top and it'll grow back. It's already pushing out buds. Let's see, I think I'm running out of batteries. Let's see, at 10%. So we'll close this off. I've got my finger lime. It's got some finger limes on it. Not too many, but I'll get to try the red ones this year for the first time. They just taste like limes. They're kind of fun. Persimmon, Ichikaki, Giro, Celestial Fig, 2 oranges on my Valencia orange. Got this pitiful Julie mango that I put in the ground, and it's doing a lot better, but it's flowering, and I'll do the same thing. I'll let it flower and pick the fruit off because it's too tiny. Let's see. I think that's it for this side. My jackfruits that the squirrels are digging up are doing really well right here. I kept the stones there so that they didn't dig around the base and try and eat them. And then we'll move to the front to close off. Pruned my guava back because it was getting huge. Got an Ingavera there. Put some more jabuticabas over here. Got a plum and a peach tree. Put them in the front. Got a whole bunch of succulents growing in here, but the red jabuticaba is still doing good in there. I don't know if you can see it right there. We got our papayas doing okay. They got kind of toasted up here. I'm not sure what that is. Some kind of mold maybe. Don't really care. I'm not going to spray them or anything like that. Oh yeah, I got all these orchids growing in the tree here. Pro tip, just put them in your trees if you get them from Home Depot or as a gift, and they'll, at least in Florida, they'll grow. They start latching on and they put their roots all down it. And they really like this spot. We got some flower buds on this one. So you don't have to give them any food or anything, they just figure it out. And then we'll come around over here. Pomegranate is existing. I don't know if that was a good spot. This might be new growth, so I'm sure it's okay. Cherry the Rio's doing fine. And we I got a jackfruit in here too. Yeah, there it is. Right there. Same seedlings. And we also got a Feijoa right there. And that's pretty much it. We're back to the north side now. So probably the longest video I've ever done, but I hope everyone kind of understands my madness trying to balance off living in an HOA and also doing stuff the right way. You gotta figure it out for yourself, and that's kind of what I'm doing. And Rang Lime's coming back with a vengeance. So yeah, I think I'm gonna cut it off here. But if anyone stuck through this long, let me know what you think, and have a good one.